I absolutely love fruit desserts. I know I've told you that before. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I think I told you that the dessert I was making, which was a shortcake, was my all-time favorite dessert. I've changed my mind. This is my all-time favorite dessert. It happens, you know. It's an apricot-blueberry cobbler with a biscuit topping. You bake it right on top of the fruit. It's so good, you guys. If apricots are gone in your neck of the woods, you can use peaches, nectarines, other stone fruit would work really well. I'm using 12 apricots and 1.25 cups of blueberries. I'd say if you were using peaches, you should probably use 6, because they're about twice as big, don't you think? Cut them into 1/2-inch wedges, removing the pit. In this bowl, I have 1.25 cups of blueberries. I'm gonna just add my apricots to the blueberries now. My board was a little crowded. I'm probably not doing this the most efficient way. Now this is what I'm gonna do. Cut them all in half, remove all of the pits, and then slice them all. It's much more efficient. Better. Slice them all into wedges. It's much more efficient to do one action at a time instead of going back and forth. All right, this looks like about, I don't know, 6 cups of fruit. Add 1/2 cup of sugar and a tablespoon of cornstarch. Cornstarch is a thickener. Obviously, the sugar is a sweetener. Stir it around. I would say gently, but it's not really that important. The fruit's gonna get broken down when you put it into the oven to bake anyway. If you want to, for like really super even distribution, you can whisk the cornstarch into the sugar and then add that to the fruit. It's what the recipe says to do. I sort of skipped that step. Bad girl. And then transfer the fruit to a 10-inch cast iron skillet. If you don't have cast iron, use any straight-sided skillet. Just need something that's deep enough to hold all the fruit. You could also use a 2-quart baking dish. That works really well as well, so you don't even need to use the skillet. Options, people. Set that aside for a sec. You don't need it right now. Now make your biscuit topping. I have a stick of cold butter that needs to be cut up. Make sure it's nice and cold. That's what gives you flaky biscuits. Flaky biscuits. Cut it into small pieces, and then the rest of the biscuit is going to be made in the food processor. You can do it by hand if you don't have a food processor, that's fine, but it's really fast in the food processor. In here I have 1.5 cups of flour. To that add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, just a little bit of sweetness, 1/4 teaspoon of coarse salt. Just pulse that until everything combines. Add the butter. Now you want to process this just until the butter's the size of small peas and smaller. Coarse meal plus small peas, let's just say that. Pulsing is a good way to do that, just to ensure that it doesn't over-mix. Okay. Then add 3/4 cup of heavy cream. This makes a delicious tender biscuit. Some biscuits use buttermilk, and this one's using heavy cream. Yeah. Pulse till it's combined. It should come together into a kind of moist dough. Not completely wet, but not completely dry. Now what you need to do is divide the dough over the top of your fruit mixture in 8 clumps. They need to be pretty even, so I just like to start off by placing them over the top, and then if I find that I don't have enough or whatever, I can reshape them. It's pretty forgiving, really. I mean, it's a cobbler. It doesn't need to be too perfect. You want to pat these down just a little bit, flatten them out. I mean, they'll flatten in the oven, but I'm going to brush them with a little bit of cream and sprinkle with sugar, so a flat surface is nice for that. This is actually kind of optional. You don't need to do it, but it makes them more golden and it gives a little bit of crunch to the top of the biscuits. You can skip it, or you can use sugar with no cream or no sugar. Sanding sugar or regular sugar will work. You get where I'm going here, right? It's kind of up to you. Sanding sugar is great because it doesn't melt in the oven, so it stays all sparkly and beautiful on top and adds great crunch. Bake it at 375 degrees until it's bubbling, even in the very center. That could take 45 minutes to an hour. If it's taking a little longer than 45 minutes, you might want to tent it with foil so that the biscuits do not overbrown. Hot out of the oven. So beautiful, so delicious. You're gonna wanna let it cool at least 15 minutes before you eat it. I can't wait, so I'm just gonna take a teeny tiny bite from the edge because it smells so good. Oh my gosh. So delicious. Pour some heavy cream over the top, put a little bit of whipped cream or some ice cream, my favorite, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. The fruits of your labor. Very little labor, lots of fruit. You're gonna love it. Hi guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click here if you want to subscribe and click over here if you want to continue watching more great videos like this.